Hello guys, welcome to K-pop quiz. This time you have to save or drop any K-pop idol without knowing who is going to be next. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Round number 1. Hyunjin from Stray Kids. Would you like to save Hyunjin or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Hyunjin? Hyunjin versus Bangchan from the same group Stray Kids. Round number 2. Junko from BTS. Would you like to save him or just drop when Jungkook versus you don't know? Jungkook versus V from the same group BTS. Save versus drop. Round number 3. Bomu from TXT. What will you do? You will save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Bomu. Bomu versus Hing Kai from the same group TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 4. Mingyu from 17. Would you like to save Mingyu or just drop when Mingyu versus you don't know? Mingyu versus Hisung from In-Hyphen. Save versus drop. Round number 5. Arin from Stray Kids. Would you like to save Arin or just drop when Arin versus you don't know? Arin versus Suho from EXO. Save versus drop. Round number 6. Han from Stray Kids. What will you do with Han? Save him or just drop when Han versus you don't know? Han versus Hisung from In-Hyphen. Save versus drop. Round number 7. Kai from EXO. Would you like to save Kai or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Kai? Kai versus Woozi from 17. Pick versus kick. Round number 8. Dino from 17. Would you like to save Dino or just drop when Dino versus you don't know? Dino versus DK from the same group 17. Save versus drop. Round number 9. Hanjung from 80s. What will you do with Hanjung? You will save Hanjung or just drop when Hanjung versus you don't know. Hanjung versus Boyoung from the same group 80s. Round number 10. Jun from 17. Would you like to save Jun or just drop and you don't know who's going to be next? Jun versus Mingyu from the same group 17. Save versus drop. Round number 11. J from In-Hyphen. What will you do? You will save J or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus J. J versus Taehyun from TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 12. D8 from 17. Would you like to save D8 or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus D8? D8 versus Hoshi from the same group 17. Save versus drop. Round number 13. Hanbin from 0 base 1. Would you like to save Hanbin or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Hanbin? Hanbin versus Han Eugene from the same group 0 base 1. Round number 14. Sunghoon from In-Hyphen. Would you like to save Sunghoon or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sunghoon? Sunghoon versus Taehyun from TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 15. Yanjun from TXT. What will you do? You will save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Yanjun. Yanjun versus Subin from the same group TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 16. Arin from New Jeans. What will you do? Save or drop when you don't know who is versus Arin? Comment to answer. Arin versus Hani from the same group New Jeans. Round number 17. Daniel from New Jeans. Save versus drop when Daniel versus you don't know. Daniel versus Minji from the same group New Jeans. Round number 18. Ryujin from ITZY Save versus Drop. What will you do when Ryujin versus You Don't Know? Ryujin versus Chairborne from the same group ITZY Save versus Drop. Round number 19. Solar from Momo Save versus Drop. When Solar versus You Don't Know, what will you do? Comment to answer. Solar versus Moonbul from the same group Momo. Round number 20. Chairborne from Les RFM Save versus Drop. When you don't know who's going to be next versus Chairborne. Chairborne versus Yanjun from the same group Les RFM. Round number 21. Sakura from Les RFM. Would you like to save Sakura or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sakura? Sakura versus Jihyo from Twice. Save versus drop. Round number 22. Sungho from Boy Next Door. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sungho? Sungho versus Hing Kai from TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 23. Joy from Red Velvet. Save versus drop. What will you do when Joy versus You Don't Know? Joy versus Arin from the same group Red Velvet. Round number 24. Nikki from In-Hyphen. What will you do? Save or drop when Nikki versus You Don't Know? What will you do? Nikki versus Jangha from the same group In-Hyphen. Save versus drop. Round number 25. Sehun from EXO. Save versus drop. What will you do if given a chance? And Sehun versus You Don't Know. Sehun versus Lei Chang from the same group EXO. Round number 26. Arin from Oh My Girl. Save versus drop. What will you do? Arin versus Aisha from Everglow. Save versus drop. Round number 27. Ricky from Zero Base One. Save versus drop when Ricky versus You Don't Know. What will you do? Ricky versus Jonghan from 17. Save versus drop. Round number 28. Scoops from 17. Would you like to save Scoops or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Scoops? Scoops versus Mingyu from the same group 17. Save versus drop. Round number 29. Suga from BTS. Save versus drop. When Suga versus You Don't Know, what will you do? Suga versus Hoshi from 17. Round number 30. Sunu from In-Hyphen. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sunu? Sunu versus Jay from In-Hyphen. Save versus drop. Round number 31. Subin from TXT. What will you do with Subin? Save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Subin? Subin versus Han from Stray Kids. Round number 32. Taesan from Boy Next Door. Save versus drop. What will you do? Taesan versus Bunha from Boy Next Door. Save versus drop. Round number 33. Karina from aespa. Would you like to save Karina or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next? Karina versus Wonyoung from IVE. Save versus drop. Round number 34. Yeji from ITZY. Save versus drop. What will you do when you don't know who's going to be next versus Yeji? Yeji versus Chairborne from Les RFM. Save versus drop. Round number 35. Jangha from 0 base 1. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who is going to be next versus Jangha? Jangha versus Joshua from 17. Round number 36. Lisa from Blackpink, save her or just drop. It's totally your choice when you don't know who's going to be next versus Lisa. Lisa versus Jisoo from the same group Blackpink. Round number 37. Sana from Twice. Would you like to save Sana or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sana? Sana versus Nayeon from the same group Twice. Round number 38. Nova from XIN. Would you like to save Nova or drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Nova? Nova versus Hana from the same group XIN. Round number 39. Veron from 17. Would you like to save Veron or just drop when Veron versus you don't know? Veron versus Kai from EXO, save versus drop. Round number 40. Taeyong from NCT, save versus drop. What will you do when you don't know who's going to be next? Taeyong versus Mingyu from 17. Round number 41. Lino from Stray Kids, save versus drop. Lino versus Wooyoung from ITZY, save versus drop. Round number 42. Jimin from BTS. Would you like to save Jimin or just drop when you don't know who is going to be next versus Jimin? Jimin versus V from BTS, save versus drop. Round number 43. Hing Kai from TXT. Would you like to save Hing Kai or just drop when Hing Kai versus you don't know? Hing Kai versus Subin from the same group TXT, save versus drop. Round number 44. Yuna from ITZY, save versus drop. What will you do when Yuna versus you don't know? Yuna versus Ryujin from the same group ITZY. Round number 45. Honwoo from 17. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Honwoo? Honwoo versus Suho from EXO, save versus drop. Round number 46. Felix from Stray Kids. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Felix? Felix versus The 8 from 17, save versus drop. Round number 47. Jiwoo from and Mix, save versus drop. Jiwoo versus Bae from and Mix. Round number 48. Momo from Twice. Would you like to say Momo or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Momo? Momo versus Minji from New Jeans. Round number 49. Sungkwan from 17. Save versus drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Sungkwan. Sungkwan versus Taehyun from TXT. Save versus drop. Round number 50. Changbin from Stray Kids. Would you like to save him or just drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus Changbin? Changbin versus Suga from BTS. Save versus drop. Round number 51. Kihoon from Monster X. Save versus drop. What will you do? Kihoon versus Wuhani from the same group Monster X. Round number 52. MJ from S2, save versus drop when you don't know who's going to be next versus MJ. MJ versus Rocky from Astro.